One of the most important conversations you're likely to have in your life is telling your partner or spouse that you want to separate. Here's a technique to make sure that you are prepared and that conversation goes as well as you need it to. There are many advantages to being prepared. It'll ensure that you manage the conversation in the best possible way, no matter how they react. It'll set the scene for respectful and effective communication later on. And it'll kick off the process in a collaborative way, which means you will have a higher chance of avoiding conflictual divorce. So let's look at my GPS approach. G stands for get yourself organized. Educate yourself about divorce. Make sure you take the time to gather information from various professionals ahead of time, understand the costs, the different avenues, and explore other options such as separation instead of divorce. Create a special email account with new passwords to use for divorce-related matters. Gather financial information, bank account balances, current household expenses, your spouse's income and bonuses for the past few years. Take pictures when possible so you have a trace of what you know. Have a divorce and an exit strategy already prepared based on your concerns. Are you going to be aggressive or amicable? Do you want to speak to your ex first or first speak to a lawyer? And finally, build a divorce budget so you are aware of the cost of the divorce itself, but also how you will sustain yourself financially post-divorce. P stands for prepare for the conversation. Put yourself in your spouse's shoes. They aren't necessarily on the same page as you. While you may have spent many months thinking about the separation, they may not be there at all, so show empathy. It might be worth taking time to practice and role play or maybe script what you're going to say. Do not talk about what happened in the past and do not blame. That is not the point of this conversation. This is a forward-looking conversation. And think through your expectations for how this divorce will go and key decisions you've already made, such as staying in the house, for example. And finally, S stands for setting yourself up for success. Make sure you take the time to think about the right time and the right place to speak to them, ideally face-to-face. But if there's a history of domestic violence, think about your safety. Maybe doing it in a public place is better or with somebody else present. Do it at a time when you're not angry, when there is no argument going on, so you can have a quiet and calm conversation. It's usually better to do it when the children are out of the house so you can have an uninterrupted conversation and avoid them overhearing any of it. Last but not least, make sure you give your spouse or partner the time to let it rest, to process what you've just told them, before moving into discussing the terms of the divorce. Remember, they're not necessarily on the same page as you, so you will need to give them time to absorb what you've just said.